So I've had to cancel my trip to New York and I'm absolutely devastated. Let's get into the video. It's not as glamorous as it looks, is it? You know, all this filming malarkey, but I do love New York. I do love New York. I've had to come to terms with it. You know, other people probably aren't bothered, but they've had to come to terms with it. I'm still coming to terms with it. New York's not going to happen. Your first question might be, Ben, why on earth would you book a flight during a global pandemic? There is no right or wrong answer to that. In March 2020, I got a message from a friend of mine who said, I've got to use a travel voucher by this certain date and I'm probably not going to use it, so do you want to use it? And the latest at that moment that you could book it was for May 2021. So I had flights booked to New York for May the 3rd, 2021. And lo and behold, it's all been cancelled because of COVID. Now, I don't know about you, but there's been so many times in my life where I've had to deal with disappointments. Probably the biggest time before not being able to fly to New York and this last year being up in turmoil and not being able to see my family and friends and all that sort of stuff. Before this was when I was 16 years old and I opened my GCSE results for the first time. And in that moment, I'd never known disappointment like it. From that moment, all my friends went on to do sixth form and university because I didn't get the results that I wanted, mainly because I went to school to socialise, but because I didn't get the results that I wanted, I had to go a very different route. And there's been other times where I faced disappointment. When I was 18, I got to the cup final of a football match, and with the last kick of the game, the other team scored to make it 3-2. And we lost, and I cried. When in 2018, England went 1-0 up against Croatia for a Kieran Trippier free kick, and then Croatia came back and won the match 2-1, and they went through to the World Cup final. I cried. There's a running theme, football and tears, it happens. And there's loads of times, I'm sure, in your life that you'll feel disappointed. People let us down. Events don't happen the way that we thought they would. COVID this last year has brought so much disappointment with it. Disappointment is a very real part of life, and we are flooded with positivity and different steps that you can take in order to deal with disappointment. And so my challenge to you today is not to follow the tips and tricks of how to overcome disappointment, of, oh, if I just think more positively, then I'll be less disappointed. But actually, in those moments, in those darkest moments of disappointment, there is a God who loves you and is reaching out his hand and saying, let me take your disappointments. Because I recognize that is the only way that I've got through some of life's most disappointing moments, is with God by my side, who's walking with me every single step of the way. So we won't get to New York this year. We might not even get there in 2022. And until it comes, I'll be hoping for it. But right now, in my disappointment, I'll offer it to God and I'll say, God, take my disappointment, because I know that you give me back joy, freedom, and peace. Young people, thanks for watching. As always, I'm going to go and watch some New York Knicks highlights on YouTube and picture that I'm at Madison Square Garden. Comment below maybe some of the things that you've been disappointed that you've missed out on this year. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to be the first to see new videos around here, and then you'll see whether I do make it to New York or not at some point in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in a video very, very soon. See you later.